thing. I was X-ray. I got to get another phaco.
Oh.
So
Yeah, but that's just your body, but that's not how you feel.
I don't know what happened.
And so when you're 80, do you
It said I got a guideline strike.
Your mortality more?
I don't know how to check why.
Especially starting at around 60, I think about death a lot. I think it's important to do that. You know, I like the Mexican attitude. It's like, here I am, death. I'm ready, you know. And they, you know, for what we call Halloween, you know, which is all commercial and everything, they go to the graveyards with wine and bread and they drink to their ancestors. I like that attitude. I like the cultures that aren't scared of death. I'm not scared of death. And I think about it all the time.
Your dog will outlive you?
No, she's 13. She'll probably die when I'm about 84.
Oh.
And my big question, and maybe you can answer this, is do I get another one at 84?
I think I would get a tortoise, a giant tortoise. So then you could will it to your great-grandchild. You were always attracted to powerful and yet disparate men. Your first husband, Roger Vadim, the
French film director,
acolyte, and then you went from him to Tom Hayden, right? And then you couldn't find two more opposite people than Tom Hayden.
That's you forgot the name. I think you see, I don't get names. But they were all kind of rebellious.
I did not forget the name, Judy. But they were all what? They all had one thing in common. They all had one thing in common.
Yeah, they were all kind of rebellious.
They were.
None of them fit the way you were supposed to be, either as a French director or a leftist or whatever, you know what I mean? They were all adventurers, kind of buccaneer types.
Yeah.
I got a guideline strike. I don't know why.
Especially Ted Turner.
But I did.
Literal buccaneer.
Yeah. Mr. Captain America.
Captain America.
Yeah, we're good
friends. You know that? I didn't. Well, he helmed America's Cup.
He was the greatest sailor in the world for a while.
Oh, I didn't know.
And while he did that, he came up with the idea, he was stoned, I think, for CNN.
Have you ever done CNN? No, what was he stoned on?
Pot.
Oh. What do you think Roger Ailes was stoned on when he came up with Fox? Here's a question for you. You like powerful men, charismatic men, rebellious men, wealthy men. Robert Trump? Roger. It's Trump.
You're tired.
I don't remember.
You've had a lot.
It's Donald Trump. Wouldn't he fit perfectly into that? You find appealing? It says here in this little blue card.
I like people like the second man I married, Tom Hayden, who would die before he would betray what he really believed, no matter what was fashionable at the time. I really admired him. Yeah.
Are you a religious person?
I have faith.
In Jesus Christ?
I'm still a work in progress. I mean, I believe in the historical Jesus, and I've studied it. And
but you believe in the hypostatic Jesus?
No.
Fair enough, question. But you believe. You believe in something that you haven't. I mean, I think it shows remarkable humility that you still have not made up your mind.
Or stupidity, I'm not sure, but I've studied a lot. I was the only white person enrolled in the International Theologic Seminary in Atlanta. It's where all the black ministers were trained, and then me, because I wanted to try to understand, and I haven't gotten there yet.
Adam was in a cult. Adam Egan, my trusty sidekick. Yeah, seriously, it was in a cult where their leader was not Jesus Christ. It was some fellow named Bill. Mel. Well, whatever, okay.
Not Gibson, though.
No. You had to give all your worldly possessions to Mel. Then Mel could have sex with your wife, it turns out. then, drunk with power, Mel would begin to have sex with the men as well, and he was not gay. It was just for the power of the thing.
How long were you in this thing?
Oh, 3 years. 3 years.
Did he do you?
No.
Are you really from Quebec?
Yeah, just outside of Quebec. Have you ever been to Quebec City?
I've never been to Quebec City.
Oh, you'd
I've
love
been to Guelph. Is that in
Guelph. Why are you in Guelph?
Making a movie?
Were you?
Yes. Agnes of God.
You made Agnes of God in Guelph? Wow.
Well, we shot some of it in
Yeah,
Guelph,
yeah. I wonder why Guelph. Guelph is near Toronto, but it's a very odd. You know, it sounds like vomit or something. It says here on this little blue card, you've said that there aren't many movies outside of your father's that have had a huge impact on you, but that
I got a
books have
guideline
caused
strike.
epiphanies in your
I don't know
life.
why.
Yeah.
What books would those be?
Well, the very first one, I was 12 years old, and it was called Green Mansions. Later, a movie was made with Anthony Perkins and Audrey Hepburn. And the reason that was important, it was the first time, you know, when, maybe you remember, the first time that you're not aware that you're reading, that you become the book.
Yeah.
And that was
That the book speaks for you rather than to you.
you're in it, and you're not aware of reading. And that was the first book that when I became the book.
I remember that.
You remember that?
Not that book, but that experience.
That
It has a name
experience?
with Jughead Comic.
Oh, no, it was Hungry Cat.
And the second one was a book called The Village of Ben Suc, S-U-C, by Jonathan Schell. And I was living in France, and a group of GIs who were resisting the war. They had fought in Vietnam, and they now lived in Paris, and they contacted me, and we became friends, and they told me about the war in Vietnam, and I didn't believe them. And they gave me this book, and I read it in one sitting, and it totally changed me. Totally changed me. And I realized that something really bad had happened. And we were being betrayed, and it changed my life and got me into a lot of trouble, but I'm so glad.
You're glad. You wouldn't have done anything differently, right? No. And you did make an apology, but I believe the apology was for specific things that you did,
Yes.
but not for your overall.
Right.
You saved people's lives.
I'm very grateful that I came to understand what was really happening. Yeah.
And I guess the biggest thing that you did was bring. I guess the biggest thing you did was find out about the dikes, right?
Yeah, I do believe my trip helped end the bombing in the dikes. Yeah. So I'm grateful for that, and just because I learned so much during my time there that made me a better person.
Did you ever fear for your life at any point?
You know something? It's weird. I don't experience fear.
How?
Isn't that awful?
I mean,
It makes you very foolish.
Well,
I've been under bombs. The ground has shaken with bombs dropping. I don't get scared. I get emotional about the context, maybe, but I don't get scared.
Do you? There's something I can't remember the syndrome in war where people will be walking into war and be worried about the person next to them dying rather than everyone else.
No, I'm not that good a person.
But when he asked that question, I thought he meant, did you ever have fear from the incredible backlash that you had in the United States?
I meant uncovering the story of the dikes and just the Nixon administration. And
Oh, there were
that.
threats against our life. When I say our, I mean me and Tom.
Oh, I'm sure.
Bombs were thrown into our bedroom window and
Bomb.
yeah, smoke
Oh, smoke bombs.
through our window, and FBI
It
was.
was terrifying.
I didn't get scared. My children did, though. Yeah. We used to have someone go out and turn the ignition from a distance, turn the car's ignition on.
Oh, wow.
Because people were being blown up in their cars in those days. But
And now it's interesting, by the way, that you're in a movement and you're not scared, and he gets scared, he has a movement, but that doesn't go. Didn't you have a question? Because this was a question he wanted to ask you.
Well, I know that in the 1977 film Fun with Dick and Jane, you you worked with a personal hero of mine, maybe the greatest sidekick of all time, Ed McMahon. What was that like?
Was
No.
Ed McMahon in that movie?
I told you she'd say that. What did I tell you? What did I tell you? I